Here. A poem by Kenji Miyazawa, probably. Strong in the rain, strong in the wind, strong against summer heat and snow. He is healthy and robust. Free from desire, he never loses his temper, nor the quiet smile on his lips. He eats 4 go of unpolished rice, miso, and a few vegetables a day. He does not consider himself in whatever occurs. His understanding comes from observation and experience, and he never loses sight of things. He lives in a little thatched roof hut in a field in the shadows of a pine tree grove. If there is a child sick in the east, he goes there to nurse that child. If there's a tired mother in the west, he goes to her and carries her sheaves. If someone is near death in the south, he goes and says, "Don't be afraid." If there are strife and lawsuits in the north, he demands that the people put an end to their pettiness. He weeps in the time of drought. He plods about at a loss during the cold summer. Everybody calls him Blockhead. No one sings his praises or takes him to heart. That's the sort of person I want to be. So we practice for the benefit of all beings. We practice to turn ourselves into conscious, caring, loving, compassionate beings. Well, let us be reminded of the refuges. Yikes. Bet that was loud. Not supposed to bonk the microphone with the guitar. I was sitting here before I turned on the broadcast and sitting and playing and singing the refuges. I realized something I'm not sure how to find the words for. Maybe it'll come after we've done it. So I invite you to join me if you wish. Most importantly, though, is to reflect upon the refuges themselves. I take refuge in the Buddha, being awake, knowing of awakeness. I take refuge in the Dharma, in the way things actually are. And I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of practice. Down through time, we have such fine ancestors. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya, Namo Sangaya. I aspire to be awake. So we come together to do something so utterly simple. To notice that there is, in fact, a body sitting here. And it is remarkably alive. In fact, it's nothing but life. And mysteriously, it's somehow we can intend and control where attention focuses. It's like we have this remarkable radio telescope that can focus in wherever it wishes in the sky. But we can pay attention to the life in the hands, for instance. Or the life in the face. Or in the toes. Perhaps you can somehow become aware of the whole body at one time. It requires a softening of focus. The body becomes sort of a cloud of sensations. And somewhere in this cloud of sensations, there's breathing. Each breath has its lifetime. There is breathing in, which isn't a unitary phenomenon. It too is a process. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And there's breathing out. There are also thoughts, quite probably. You'll likely discover that you're pulled away into the world of thoughts. You become the world of thoughts. You become the stories about I, me, and mine. I feel good today, I feel bad today. What about what this person did or that person did? Or have you seen the news? Or but there's this awakening. There is this spontaneous knowing that wandering is happening. Awakening. And it serves us to know this, to notice this when mindfulness is born. So we learn to know when we are present and awake, and when we are lost in the trance. That's the royal road. Mindfulness is that quality of consciousness that knows, that is aware, that is awake. Concentration is another attribute of mind in which the mind is stable and focused. So it will more or less stay where we put it. And we can use in-breathing and out-breathing as this object of concentration. And we might last in concentration half a breath, or 2 breaths, or 10 breaths. And mindfulness knows, oh yes, concentration is very strong and present, or concentration is rather sparse today, this moment. We are nature awakening to itself. A mammal with another layer of cortex, somehow a tuning device for consciousness. And the Buddha, like many others, discovered it's possible to cultivate this knowing, this presence. And with knowing, then that slim little window of opportunity to shape our behavior of thought, word, and deed opens. So let us honor, let us respect and notice when there is remembering. So the body breathes, and somehow something knows that it's breathing in. In this coming home to the body, this awareness of thoughts, this awareness of mood, we are inhabiting now. We are becoming creatures of the present moment. The body, everything always existed now. but we become awake to and knowledgeable of the utter truth of anicca, impermanence, as everything flashes into being and then vanishes. Sometimes we fall into the trance for quite a while, maybe minutes, maybe days actually. We become obsessed with something and lose mindfulness rather completely. But then if we have a practice, if we come together with our Sangha partners, we're reminded. Or if we have our reminder objects around the house or in the car, the gold stars are little sticky notes that say, brush mindfully, drive mindfully. we again notice, oh yes, it's breathing in. It's breathing out. And as we come to live more and more in the present, and we recognize that the past is actually over, then we can undertake some dropping of baggage. We can leave behind some heavy suitcases that we don't need anymore. And not condoning anything unskillful that we've done in the past. In fact, really recognizing the reality of how we caused harm to ourselves or another or others. Maybe think of some instance like that. Some particular something that you hold a grudge against yourself for. I'll never forgive myself for that. And recognizing that such events were incredibly educational. Where we learned that certain ways of being in the world cause pain and suffering. Certain actions cause suffering. Certain things we say or do cause suffering. And so acknowledging, reaffirming, I'll never do that again if I can help it. I'm going to really work to not do that again. And then experiment with, I'm going to let go of all the guilt and shame that came from those unskillful actions. Letting go of the rope that carries that old baggage. As much as I can in this moment, I forgive myself. Sometimes that word forgive is laden with all kinds of strange meanings. So if that's the case, it's simply, yes, I did that. And I'm going to cease feeling bad about it all the time. I'm going to cease feeling unworthy of love. I'm going to accept that I am a normal, flawed human being who learns through making mistakes. And we set in motion with this self-forgiveness the reminder that whenever some self-hatred arises any time in our lives, we can remember, I forgive myself. We do the best we are. And remembering the attitude toward ourselves of love, I aspire to love and accept myself exactly as I am in this moment. And when I'm hurting, when I discover that I'm hurting in any way, I aspire to hold myself in sweet compassion. To open to any pain that's present. And to hold myself sweetly in compassion. And coming now to breathing in and breathing out. The ancient coming and going, which has been with you since your first moment of life here on the earth. The moment your mother could no longer breathe for you and you gasped that first deep breath. And noticing when the moment is right, the transition from sitting in silence to seeing. As I mentioned at the beginning, that beautiful poem is on the blog ahead of time at robertbeatty.com. And if you've not been to that website, I highly recommend it. There's lots of really great stuff there. So I think I just am interested in hearing if there's anything you'd like to share this morning. I will need to go at 8:05. I have a meeting at 8:30 I need to get to. So, I guess I'll say this. I'm really fascinated, like hugely curious by that moment of waking up from the dream. It happens so many times a day. Lost, really quite lost in the conditioned mind. And suddenly this knowing, thinking, spontaneously arises. There's not even effort in it. There's no one to make the effort. It does it by itself. That fascinates me. it's as though the waking up process happens by itself. It's like it wants to wake up. That's very encouraging to me. It's not that I remember to wake up, it's that it wakes up. I have spoken. Ho Mitakuyasin. I think that's Lakota Sioux. I had the great privilege of knowing a fellow who was a Lakota Sioux pipe carrier, and we did several sweat lodges a long time ago. Very important, though, for me. Some things happened in those sweat lodges that were very transformative. And I think Homitakuyasin means all my relations. After the ritual was after one spoke and was finished, then one would say, all my relations.
Hi, Robert and folks.
It's Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome.
Yeah. I was taught that if the chest is pounding, maybe thou shalt speak.
What did you say? If the chest is pounding, thou shalt speak?
Yeah, there's a Pounding Hearts Club.
I see. Oh, I suddenly lost your sound.
I don't know what that means. If you like, I can search the web for.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, Seo, I suddenly lost your sound.
Jeez. Go away. I don't even know how to stop that without killing the whole thing. Please go ahead.
I don't know what that means. Oh, just one is really, really grateful for the last couple of days of sitting and teachings. And something made me think, well, the last 24 hours, because I was in yesterday, really had a connection between this idea of effort and like an experience of letting the effort go. And so that kind of brought me back to thinking about that moment of awakening, those constant awarenesses. But like, anyway, I was really appreciative of my experience yesterday, and it's carrying into today, of being able to feel the body efforting. And something, you spoke of the forgiveness and all those guilts and chains, or, responsibilities of the past. And I can even feel that as an effort. And so when I notice that, I can not effort, and that's very freeing. I think that's what I had to say.
Thank you. It is such a relief to effort less and less.
Also, is the bird song natural or recorded?
That's the birds. It's I have my door and windows open. A year ago, I guess a year ago, I was just moving into my shed, but before that, I broadcast from a tent, and there was a lot more bird sound, and yeah.
I was quite grateful for it. Envious.
Yeah, there's still birds here. Fewer. Hello, LP.
I just wanted to say, since coming and starting to show up, and the mornings that pass, I don't know, 2 months or so, this is the first time I was actually able to sit the whole time and not get up and stretch or need to do something else while I was doing it. And I, didn't realize it until I heard the gong, and I was like, oh, this is this is that moment. And I'm hopeful that things will again require less and less effort and come easier and easier and be more, strengthening that awakening. I really liked how you put it, that it's not remembering, it's like cultivating something else within that wants to be awake and wants to be heard. So just thought I'd share.
Thank you very much. That's a lovely. And isn't it interesting how your capacity to bear with grows over a short time? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I've never been able to meditate on my own, so this is feels like quite a moment.
Well, congratulations. And where are you physically?
I'm in a small town in Northern California.
Huh.
So I've also got birds, which is really nice, and lots of trees.
Well, you're most welcome among us. Lovely. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here.
Good morning, it's Carol.
Hello, Carol. I was just
Hi.
wondering. I was just wondering how you were doing.
Yeah, yeah, all in all, I'm doing okay. I had the opposite experience with my meditation this morning. I had a lot of restlessness and agitation. um, we had our second vaccination clinic here on Quadra yesterday, which I helped out with, and it was very hot. I think it was 42 degrees, which is getting up there. so, so I just woke up feeling really tired and just having a really hard time focusing, concentrating. But the birds did help. So hearing was very useful. Just going back and forth between the birds here and the birds there. All very beautiful, connecting with sound and hearing. But I must admit, I do feel for the birds and all of the animals in this heat. So, as well as homeless, yes, lots of challenges for people right now. But I guess the thing I am grateful for so far is haven't heard about too many fires yet. So that's a blessing.
Yeah.
I don't know about there. Have there been much in the way of fires?
No. There's been a few
Good.
outbreak, but they've hit them fast and they've been very small. But
Good.
and
Excellent.
and this comes with a kind of teariness. It's June and it's 114 degrees. It's 49 degrees or something Celsius here. It's
Unbelievable.
it's and the forests are dry and the snowpack is low and
Yeah.
it's there's a
Very-
we humans. I also wanted to know how you were doing about that friend who ended her life and how that's unfolding for you.
Yes, well, because a lot of people here didn't know, there were some of us who did know ahead of time, but a lot of people didn't. It's been a shock to many. She had a very lovely gathering at the time of her passing, and which I'm really grateful for. There was chanting and I think even dancing, and I think she was really, really ready. And she had compiled information about her life that was shared with people and even through emails, and then being very organized. There was even an obituary that went into our Discovery Islander paper pretty well right away. The timing was really good, and so I'm feeling much more settled about things because I really I really feel she was ready, and she left in a state of knowing that feeling that one of her, I think, big because she was such an activist for the trees and the salmon, and I think she had a lot of sorrow about what was happening, and just that was just one of her issues was just having a hard time staying here with the way things were going, and that was sad all around. But yeah, thank you for asking. I appreciate that.
Way back in 1974, that's a long time ago, isn't it? 1974. I graduated from York University in Toronto, a master's in environmental studies. And I actually applied for it from India. It was a 3-year program. And I was shaken to my core at that time with the magnitude of the environmental collapse that was happening. And it's of course, proceeded. And we live in a profound, remarkable denial of the magnitude of the challenge that is in front of us. This is kind of a silly story, but have I time? Yeah, I'll tell you. A long time ago, around a year or so after that program, I did a guru trip with a fellow named Sujata, Buddhist thing, in California. And anyway, among the things we did a lot of crazy stuff, but we dropped acid, LSD, and went down into Hoover Dam. And then it was quite a trip down in Hoover Dam. And then we went to the light show. There was a model of Lake Mead and the whole of the Southwest water system, and the pride in Hoover Dam and so on. And instead of seeing what they were projecting, I saw the Indus Valley civilization, our earliest civilization. I saw it getting the water running out and getting dusty, and then all the civilization around it was devastated. And there are more than 30 million people who are dependent on that water supply, and it's down to next to nothing. So we're facing, in our lifetimes, even us old ones, we're facing some very challenging times. And it therefore, and where I go with it is, it behooves me to practice deeply. You know, in order to maintain compassion and love and forbearance and to be of service during whatever happens. This is a kind of big time. And of course, we all face the end of our lives. So I find it encouraging to practice and also to make use of the moments I have to connect. That when we can connect, let's connect. Let us be of service to ourselves and each other with very clear hearts and minds. Well, I must go. I'm very glad I got to be with you this morning. Thank you for coming. I love the morning meditation party.
Thank you, Robert.
Let's go out on an Om, okay? We'll Om, and then I'll ring the bell a couple of times, and then we will go into hyperspace. Oh, and feel free to unmute. It makes it kind of fun. May all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. May we be mindful, compassionate, and loving towards ourselves and all beings all day today.
Amen.
Till soon.
Bye.
Thank you, Robert.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Alrighty, you ready for the leap to hyperspace? How silly. Bye-bye. Goodbye, Tamara. Goodbye, LP and Sherry. Have a good day, everybody. It ended. All right. My mouse is a little crazy. Goodbye, dear friends on Facebook and YouTube. I hope you